Hello and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. I hope everyone is having an awesome Monday. First day of the shows this week. We're doing 5 shows. It is a lit week. I mean, we have Tom Woods, Stefan Kinsella, Brad Palumbo, Austin Peterson, and my good friend tonight. Very excited about this one, but we're going to start off with some sponsors as per the usual. Oh, guys, I got a new microphone. As you can tell, there is no more glowing red microphone. It is a nice Shure SM7B, just like the ones Joe Rogan uses. My good friend Tom Woods had his old producer, AJ Van Slyke, send it out. So I'm not super good with audio. I know you guys are aware of this. So if I'm having any audio issues at all, please let me know. If I'm like, super gainy or if it's not loud enough or whatever, just let me know. But it probably should sound a lot better than my old HyperX does. Anyways, sponsors. Lorenzotti.coffee for all your delicious Italian coffee needs, delivered directly to your door. Bring the taste of Italy home. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. My friend, my partner on the show, one of the coolest guys I know, toplobster.com for all your graphic design needs. This man's amazing. You can get this great Epstein Didn't Kill Himself shirt that you see me wearing tonight, plus all kinds of other great stuff. Go check out toplobster.com. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount, or join the Patreon, Subscribe Star, or the channel memberships, which I actually dropped the link for tonight in the chat so that you guys could find it, because I know you guys were looking for it last time. And you'll get a 30% off discount on all new designs for up to 2 weeks prior to them going to the general population, so you're getting some really good deals there. Check out Top Lobster. Send the man some money. He's a good dude who needs it. Trust me, he's a truck driver with a big family. And also, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com. For all your emergency and crisis planning needs. These people are doing a job that the government sucks at for a much cheaper price and much more efficiently. Check them out. See what they can do for your home, business, or personal life today. They're amazing people. Guys, we got an awesome show as per the usual. Tonight is one of my very, very good friends, probably one of my best friends in the country. We have traveled all over this country together. He is the chair of the Libertarian Party of Florida, probably one of the coolest affiliates and most diverse affiliates, even though many people have called that affiliate filled with Nazis, just completely overrun with Nazis. That's why we talk about Chair Mr. Stephen Nekhaila being the Egyptian Nazi. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
Yalla, 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 Joshua. Welcome. I am here in undisclosed location. You will never find me. I come to you today on behalf of the Libertarian Party of Florida. I am with the alcohol, the Aro cigar, the Aleke, and I am so happy to be on the show with you tonight. We are here to save the Libertarian Party from beardless men and bearded women.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be with you all today.
That's great. Top Lops is in the chat. He says he's very sorry for spelling your name incorrectly on the graphic the first time. It did get rectified before I used it as a thumbnail for the show. He's a good guy, I swear. He doesn't do it on purpose. I keep him in a basement locked up. He's very, very tired and overworked and underpaid, and it's rough.
Ebna Barkel, not enough poppy seed to your producer. I wish him well and hope no more mistakes. It is all Aladdin.
Bro, you're killing me. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. I'm having fun. Hey, somebody already said that this is the best show so far. Hey, man, why don't we look? A lot of people probably don't know who you are. You got less than 300 followers on Twitter. We're gonna rectify that. You are the chair of the third largest affiliate in the country. I try to hang out with you all I can. If you didn't live, in basically another country.
I live out in bumfuck Florida, little far away for most people, but I have many followers on the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, NSA, TSA, CIA, FBI, all my people, they love me.
Steven, why don't you show up to LNC meetings like this, damn it? My God, man, you would be the chair already.
I'll come in with women on both sides and gold and the Sheik's limousine and make a nice spectacle for our friends.
Hey, shout out to Shannon Lee for becoming a channel supporter. I really appreciate you guys. Every time somebody becomes this channel supporter, you feed one of my 97 children, so I appreciate you very much. Steven, are we doing the whole show in character, bud, or what? Are you gonna make it?
I'm gonna.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Here.
Steven got a good gym pump on before the show. He's all hyped up.
I actually, right before this podcast, I actually was just at a city council meeting, talking about some cruise ship stuff, some controversial stuff here in Key West, and I was like the only one in the room to speak on behalf of the cruise ships and why we need cruise ships. Then right afterwards, I went to the gym, got a nice pump in. So just an average Monday night for me, and super stoked to be on the show with you. Finally, I forgot that I had this podcast with you just like a week ago because we scheduled it like 3 months ahead of time.
Oh well, we also were gonna do like an exclusive stream for my Patreon a month ago.
Yeah,
and then we couldn't do it. Something kept happening, either you or me, and then so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put them on a regular show. And now we have the exclusive content that happens after every show, anyways. So we're still gonna do stuff for the patron users, but now you get to have your own show, buddy.
That's awesome, man. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah. I guess Davey sent you the message last time, so I'll have to pay the postage.
Right. Exactly. We'll definitely talk. We'll definitely talk about. We'll definitely talk about some inside LP baseball tonight, because this man and I have served on the LNC together for 3 years. I'm in my second term. You're in your third term, right?
Yeah, I've been on the LNC since I was like 12 years old.
So pretty much.
I'm almost at an age I can buy tobacco. So that's why I have the cigar tonight. It's my third term. It'll be 6 years next year.
Yeah, and you joined really early. I mean, you were in your young 20s, right?
I was 20. What was I, 22? I think when I joined, because it was the 2016 convention. I think it was. Or 2018, 2018, I think was the convention. And I got in as Region 2 representative alternate. And then I was reelected the term later as a primary. And then just so recently in Orlando again, I was reelected for Region 2 representative. So super stoked, super happy to represent my region on the LNC and, bring a little young blood, a little bit of something different and extra to the party and to the board, man. We need to mix it up a little bit. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate. Oh, look, hey, hold on 1 second. I got to stop the presses. There's a friend of mine. There's a friend of mine in the chat right now, and I can't see his picture, but I'm guessing it's my friend Andy from when I was a child. I mean, high school, maybe before high school. If that's you, Andy, let me know. But he said, hey, Josh, proud of you, brother. Glad that window in downtown Antioch didn't win that fist fight 20 years ago. This man, if this is Andy, I gotta tell you about this. Listen, I was very young. I don't even know. I don't think I was 18 yet. It was before I joined the military. And I had a pretty crazy streak as a kid. Okay, I did a lot of really dumb shit. I'm sure everyone here is surprised. And I got really drunk one night. And my girlfriend at the time broke up with me at the pool hall in like the middle of the night. And I had a fist fight with some little tiny windows. And the fist fight almost won, or the window almost won. I still have this crazy scar on my wrist where I pulled a piece of glass that was about almost an inch long out of my wrist. And I fell down in the parking lot bleeding. And this gentleman in the chat basically picked me up over his shoulder, threw me in the car, and ran every red light on the way to the hospital. So he really saved my life. And I appreciate you, Andy. Thank you so much for checking out a show, dude. That's really cool of you. Seriously.
That's a real friend. Save your life and then show up on your podcast 20 years later to catch up, man.
Yeah, man. Cool. That's so cool. I he's always been one of the coolest guys I've ever known. I mean, especially from, my adolescence. So I'm glad to have you here, man. I appreciate you. Huge shout out. One more shout out to my mom. I have not got to make a Facebook post about this yesterday because I had a 24-hour ban, but now I'm off of it. It was her birthday yesterday. So CNC's chip check-ins, that's my mother, Cheryl. She is in every single live chat for this show, almost 5 nights a week. Please tell her happy birthday. Drop happy birthdays in the chat to my beautiful mother. Steven.
Joshua.
Tell me about your story, man. How did you get here?
Yeah.
You're not like the normal Libertarian Party guy. You're cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're actually like Jim tanning laundry guy. You live in Key West. You drive a dope-ass Dodge, Let's talk about how did you get here?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a crazy story, man. I think I started to come around to the idea of freedom and that the government lies to us, all that kind of stuff when I was really young. I think I was about 14, 15 years old. started to get a little bit into like the ether. I watched a documentary my buddy showed me called The Esoteric Agenda. And if anybody's heard or watched this documentary, it's probably a super old grainy YouTube video with like 100,000 views or something like that, that talks all about the Federal Reserve and this and that. And I thought, man, that's all pretty wild. As I got a little bit older, I realized that government schools lied about the realities of everything from smoking weed to U.S. history to all kinds of stuff. And I just started to get more and more into sort of the political space, the political sphere. Things back then were a little bit different. There wasn't really a lot of libertarian influence. I didn't know any libertarians, but I knew I wasn't a Republican and I wasn't a Democrat. So I got a little bit into the truther side of things, and then I started moving more into the economic side of things. And found Ron Paul in 2012. I think I just graduated high school 2012. Went to Paul Fest in Tampa, and basically was amazed by the amount of just complete police state in Tampa at the time, because the Republican National Convention was in Tampa, and they spent $1 billion with a B on security. There were armed guardmen everywhere. There was fences, gates, they had helicopters, drones, MRAPs, you name it. The whole city was on lockdown. This is the same time Paul Fest was going on. So I got to Paul Fest. I actually got to see Gary Johnson up on stage talking about the Libertarian Party, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Saw the platform, pro marijuana, anti-war, anti-Fed, whatever it was, he was all about at the time. And I was like, man, this sounds like a cool thing, Libertarian Party. So got back to FIU. A buddy of mine, he was starting a Young Americans for Liberty chapter. So I got involved there, became the chairman for Young Americans for Liberty, all at FIU, which is a primarily liberal institution. Did that for a few semesters. And then, back then I was also involved with We Are Change, doing some work for Luke, another buddy's YouTube channel, Rothbardian Circle back in the day. So a few different groups. Some members of the group got me involved in a little bit of Rothbard, a little bit of, these other guys. So got me deeper into the rabbit hole. And I started questioning everything, from this to that to all kinds of stuff. And it really brought me down this rabbit hole towards libertarianism. So a buddy of mine hit me up out of the blue. He wasn't my friend then. He just first time I met him, he calls me, he says, hey, man, I noticed you're a libertarian registered in Monroe County. We're trying to get a chapter going. Are you down to be a part of this Libertarian Party of the Florida Keys chapter? So I was like, let me hit you up in like 9 months when I get back home. And literally 9 months later, I moved back down to the Keys. I hit him up. We started LP Florida Keys. I had some friends from Miami that I knew back in college reach out to me and say, hey, man, you should run for region representative for Florida. So I ran for region rep in 2015 or 16, got that position. And then shortly thereafter at the National Convention in Orlando, ran for alternate. Had some friends put me up to, hey, man, you'd be great as an alternate. You should totally do LNC stuff. Cool. So I did that. And that started my whole journey into the party. And over the past 7 years or so, just got super involved in the LP and libertarianism. And it's been one of those things that I really enjoy doing. I'm super passionate about. And I always just want to make a difference. So I think this is one of the ways that I was able to do so and kind of put my energy into that. But sure. Yeah, to answer your question, man, I'm, not a little bit like everybody else. I'm a little, kind of living in a party town and do my own thing and everything else. And definitely a different flavor to the party. So, sure. But I'm happy to be here.
I wanted to, so first of all, oh, you know what? We got an echo coming from your computer, buddy.
Uh-oh.
We didn't have one of those this whole time. And now all of a sudden we do. Uh-oh.
Is it bad?
Are your headphones going to work? Actually, it's gone now. It's gone now.
Is it?
Yeah, it's gone now.
Maybe I'll just, okay, cool. I can turn down the audio a little bit.
Maybe it's just, maybe it's temporary. Maybe, it's intermittent. Yeah. First of all, shout out to Andrew Corsini. I think I said that right.
Oh, shit.
He just became a channel member. I appreciate you. You just fed one of my 97 children. I appreciate you. He also dropped a super chat that says, Steven, $5 super chat. He said, Steven introduced me to weed, libertarianism, and let me borrow his bike in the middle of the night in high school one time. Dude is a legend.
Dude, that's so awesome, man. Dude, just like you had your buddy from 20 years ago.
Now you got a buddy in high school.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, dude. Glad to have you on the channel, man. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah,
this is incredible. It's like
what's going on? Reunion. I love it, dude. I love it. It's great. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your radicalism, because you're radical.
Sure.
I mean, you are absolutely as radical as they come. There's no doubt about it. You're so radical that you've gotten the blue-pilled libertarians in the party to call you a Nazi, even though you're very brown. It's very surprising to think that you would be a Nazi. But did you? Sorry, excuse me. I just had chicken tacos. My fiance made them. She's wonderful. It was also Julia's birthday yesterday, by the way. My mom and Julia have the same birthday, so make sure you say happy birthday to my fiance as well. Delicious chicken tacos, though. I made her a brownie cake. Okay. Did you become more radical after you got in the party, or were you like reading Murray and all that stuff prior to joining the party?
I got involved. Actually, it's kind of funny because when I got involved with Young Americans for Liberty, I call myself a constitutionalist. So I followed the Constitution, founding fathers, classical liberalism. I was all about it. I would get in arguments with police whenever they'd pull me over because of my car and my skin tone and the fact that I'm a young guy. And I would say, look, man, I'm a constitutionalist. Don't want you to search the car, blah, blah, blah. Bring the dogs, do what you got to do, give them a hard time. So that was always kind of my shtick. When I joined y'all and got involved with the Young American Liberty chapter, a lot of those guys were ANCAPs. And so they started talking a little bit more about anarchy. And I found myself, because we did something that was really cool, and I think every libertarian should really, in some way, try to put themselves in a situation. When you're talking to the general public, like we would put out a table and just talk with people all day long. So I probably spoke with over 1,000 students at FIU and got to talk to a lot of them one-on-one, this and that. And I realized over time that radical libertarian anarcho-capitalism was a lot easier to defend than a lot of the more soft-core stuff. So I found myself a lot of time defending basically anarchy. And then I got involved with, some of these other libertarians. They started to really, I guess, kind of red pill me on Rothbard and Mises and a lot of these guys. And it wasn't until I got the audiobook for a New Liberty by Murray Rothbard that I really got sucked in. Because I was already into, Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin, and I was reading some of these other dudes, and I would give out like back in high school, I used to give out these DVDs called The Red Pill. Back when The Red Pill was like The Matrix. So there was DVDs like all about politics on there from like J. Edward Griffin and the Reality Zone. And I would give them out to like people and teachers and stuff like that, dude. Like I was a part of the school newspaper, and we just try to like red pill everyone on like Operation Ajax and Operation Mockingbird and like all this different stuff. So like
Northwoods.
People would read the school newspaper, Operation Northwoods, and I talk about the Fed and how, the CIA and the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to bomb a Cuban airliner or an American airliner, blame it on the Cubans, to go to war with Cuba, like all this kinds of stuff, man. I was so sucked in. So I was already kind of radical from that perspective. And then the anarcho-capitalist stuff just kind of struck it clicked for me on a political perspective, because you have this crazy system and this crazy government. So what's the best way to fix it? The only way I see to fix it is through ideas like what Rothbard and Mises and these guys have, which is small government doesn't have the power to, influence our lives in these ways, in these crazy ways. So, yeah, man, I just got involved with, all the big thinkers and just asked a lot of questions, and it led me down one rabbit hole to the next. And I'm a pretty avid reader, so I just got to it and eventually got pretty committed to it and call myself an ANCAP these days.
Nice. Do you think? Hold on. Here we go.
Oh,
okay.
My bad.
Sorry, it's weird. It's like an echo from your computer, but it only after you stop talking for a minute, and then it goes away. But anyways, do you think that you're on more lists than me?
Hold on a second.
I gotta get into character for this one.
The Americans, they have many lists, Joshua. They have the TSA, the almighty TSA, the great TSA. It is like a boot on our neck. They are so powerful. But I tell you what, Joshua, they may have me on all of these lists, but it does not matter. I'm not worried about the lists. It is, I'm on so many lists, so many. You ask the FBI, the CIA, they all know me. I'm a very popular guy. We go to cocktail parties. We get together in the Bilderberg groups and the Toronto commissions. We talk about the OPEC and everything. It does not matter. About the list. Joshua. I would say that if you are more listed than me, I will donate $1 million to your cause. I would be very impressed.
Delivered directly from the CIA to you?
Yes, yes. Yes. They bring out the poppy seeds, then they bring out the money. It's the order. The poppy seeds, then the money. It's in the back.
Did the CIA buy that AK-47 for you?
Yes. This is, as you can see, this is from the CIA, and from the 1992 revolution. We still use these. We dip it a little bit of motor oil, clean it out. It is fine. Good for 2 or 3 more wars. So
it's funny because your people are fighting the people that are funded by the ATF. So you guys are you're good. There you go.
Right, yeah, I'm waiting for my Tacoma, man. I'm waiting for my new Tacoma or my Hilux, and
yeah, I wonder if this episode will get demonetized. Let's see what happens. So let's talk a little inside baseball, man. As anybody who follows me knows, I just ran for chairman of the Libertarian Party for the 3rd time. And for the 3rd time, I came in 2nd place, which is fine. It's fine. It's a slow shift here. I'm not running for chair again in 2022. I made it very clear that I had no intentions of running for chair in 2022. I was only going to do this in the interim because I want Angela to win in 2022. But man, the last couple months have been real ugly on that LNC, man.
Yeah, dude, it's been a rough few months, man. Yeah, it's been wild. Gosh, just a lot of back and forth, man. A lot of just sort of craziness and a little bit of unwieldiness. I wasn't at the last meeting. Actually, it was kind of funny. So at the Libertarian Party of Florida convention, I was giving my LNC report, and I was telling everybody how this is the best LNC ever. We get along so well, and things are fantastic. Then literally the next day, I was like, I need to amend my LNC report from yesterday. Because that was right when the New Hampshire stuff popped off and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
So
and now we're digitally fist fighting every day.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's like I don't know, man. We just need to have a libertarian MMA or something. Just put on the gloves and just settle it that way. I'd be so down.
I would love
that'd
that
be fun.
so much. Oh god,
that'd be money can go towards whatever charity you want it to go towards. I'd be so down. If somebody wants to set that up, a libertarian MMA, and we can bet on brackets and do the whole thing, I think that would be a fun time.
It'd be like a whole tournament. Have a tournament.
Yeah,
old school style. Hey, so you tell this really great story of the place that you live, and I don't think people understand just how far off normal everyday life is where you live.
Yeah, man.
So can you tell the story of how you tried to your place tried to secede from the nation?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I live down in Florida Keys or in Key West. So back in, I think it was 1986 or so, or 1982, something like that, the Conch Republic in the Free Florida Keys was created. What happened is that there was a roadblock back in the 80s because of all the cocaine trafficking and everything else that was going on. There was a lot of smuggling going through the Florida Keys and through the Florida Strait, which is where it all used to happen back then. So the federal government put a roadblock in on the stretch, which is the space between the Florida Keys and the mainland. It's like a 20-mile stretch. And everybody that went through there had to show an ID or a passport. So it was affecting tourism down in Key West. And locals were getting sick of it, and the city council was getting sick of it. So what they decided to do is they declared war on the United States. Because if they're going to treat us like another country, then we'll just become another country. So we seceded where others failed. We became the Conch Republic and the Free Florida Keys, and the mayor signified the war by breaking a piece of stale Cuban bread over the head of a Navy officer in Mallory Square. Afterwards, the Conch Republic Navy, made up of dinghies, went ahead and attacked the U.S. naval cutter with stale Cuban bread and vegetables. The Navy cutter surrendered. His commander and his fleet stood down. The battle raged on for minutes, but we came out on top. We also have the Conch Republic Special Forces. They're so good, we've never seen them. And we also have the Conch Republic Navy to this day, which is a nice galleon ship. So it does exist, and we celebrate Independence Day every year. But that battle went on until the next day, where we eventually surrendered to the United States, but our terms of surrender were very clear. We required, number one, they lifted the roadblock, and number two, $1 billion in restitution. We didn't get the restitution, but they did lift the roadblock. And so we celebrate our Conch Republic independence. And you can actually, to this day, come down to Key West, to the Conch Republic, and get your own passport. And I personally know people that have traveled to Europe, to France, other countries using this passport, and people actually get around with it. There was actually a real case of a guy who went to Guatemala, and they thought he was an American, so these Guatemalan rebels were going to kill him. He goes, "No, mi no Conch Republica, mi no Americano, mi la Conch Republica." So they filled him with tequila shots instead of lead shots.
Nice.
So if you want to travel the world and perhaps save your life, then you should come down to Key West and get yourself a Conch Republic passport. We're a very eccentric place. We're super libertarian. Everybody down here just sort of accepts everyone for who they are, what they are. You know, it doesn't matter. We've got Fantasy Fest, which I've been trying to drag Josh to for the past few years, which we'll have to make happen one of these days.
Someday.
Where it's just a total debauchery fest. You can look it up online, but it's like a clothing optional sort of Mardi Gras kind of thing. And it's a lot of fun. It's like a week-long event. So yeah, it's a fun place. I honestly wish that the Free State Project was the Free Keys Project, because I think it would have been a lot easier to take over.
It probably would have been a lot more fun too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'd been a lot more fun too. I mean, I don't know what's up in New Hampshire. I mean, it seems kind of nice, but I haven't been up there yet. I'm from Jersey originally, so I just kind of imagine it's like the wilderness of Jersey, but maybe it's nicer.
Colder weather, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you don't
I can't handle the cold, man. I got to stay where it's warm at least.
Tell me about it, man. Moving to Iowa has been rough. Rough.
Jesus. Yeah, you made that move, man. I think you had to survive a tornado at one point.
I thought it was a tornado.
Extreme weather.
I told this story. Story on the show already when I thought I was in a hurricane. I thought I was in a tornado, but it was actually like a land hurricane called a derecho. And I was like texting Julia, like, "I'm sorry, you're gonna have to raise this baby on your own. I don't think I can get out of here. There's no basement in the apartment, and I'm dead, and I apologize." And lights start flickering and shit. And I'm like, "Oh God!"
Jesus.
And I just moved here, like 2 months prior, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm gonna die. She's like, "Sweetie, it's just the wind. Go sit in the bathtub." I was like, okay, I'll do that. But it was like 120-mile-an-hour winds or something. It ripped the roof.
Jesus, that's fast.
Yeah,
ripped like a Cat 3.
Yeah, it ripped the roof off. We have a local hockey stadium here where I live in Urbandale, and it ripped the roof off the damn hockey stadium.
Jesus,
it is nuts. I never seen anything like it.
I'd rather deal with hurricanes, man. At least I know they're coming. I can get out of the way, you know.
Oh, there was
that
no
kind of
warning.
Stuff. There's no warning at all. It just happens. It's like an earthquake, or
Well, and I moved from the place with earthquakes, right? Like I'm from California, where I'm just used to earthquakes. You're just used to them. They happen, and you're like, "Huh, must have been an earthquake." You know, it's like it's super common. But like then I moved to the Middle West, or the Midwest. It's like a scary place. They have these tornado alarms that go off and they roll through the whole city. Oh, and you're like, it sounds like a bomb warning, you know. And there are tornadoes here, and then this wind event last year was like nothing. I've never seen anything like it in my life, man. It was like I went down to the gas station. It was clear skies, completely sunny. I went down to the gas station, got coffee, came back. I'm sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden the apartment goes pitch black because the light coming through the slats in the back door, it just gone. And I'm like, what the hell? So I go and open it. It looks like the Wizard of Oz, dude. Like there's just shit flying by the windows. I'm like, what the hell's going on? You know?
I don't know if I can handle it out there, man. I it seems beautiful and everything else, but just the weather seems like, I guess you get used to whatever it is, but I don't know.
I've come to
dude.
There's two extremes. There's two extremes here, dude. It's either negative temperatures or like really hot and humid.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You can deal
I
with
like
the
South
humidity.
Florida too much, man. I'm used to it. It's like 95 degrees and 100% humidity, and I don't mind it. But sometimes I go on these LNC meetings to it'll be like in Georgia or South Carolina in like March, and it'll be nice in here. And then I go over there and it's like 30 degrees, and I'm like, what the hell happened?
It's bad.
I brought no jacket. Yeah. I didn't realize it can get that cold. I just totally forgot that I live in like the tropics.
Sure. Well, on the first big snow here, I was like, oh, I got this. I went down to the Walmart and bought like a snow shovel. I was like, we got a long driveway, you know. And I got out there and I'm like in my work boots and like my gym shorts and a parka, and I'm like trying to get all the snow off the driveway. I'm like, this sucks. This is way harder than I thought it was gonna be. And my next door neighbor comes over and he's like, hey man, do you want to use the snowblower? You probably want to use the snowblower. I'm like shivering. I'm like, yes, please. Yes, it's like 8 degrees or something. I'm like, this is terrible. But then our other next door neighbor had like an old school snowblower that like drives itself. Like you can just press a button.
That's pretty badass.
So he's like, here, you can just take this for the rest of the winter. It's too big for me to use anyway. So I started doing his driveway. And then I started doing the whole neighborhood. Like, because I had this really nice snowblower, so I'm like going up and doing all the walkways in front of everybody's house and like my next door neighbor's driveways, and
that's awesome.
Because I'm like the friendly California guy,
Yeah, the only time I'm shoveling everything is when I'm shoveling sand into sandbags to barricade my house for business for hurricanes and stuff from the beach. I just steal sand and just.
Well, hey, you got plenty of sand down there, man.
Oh yeah,
it ain't going.
By the way, I just remembered your mom watches all these podcasts. Do you ever censor yourself knowing your mom's on?
Not at all. No, not at all. No, I drop the F-bomb all the time.
Yeah, I was on a podcast with Davey on burning boots, and if anybody knows anything about burning boots, they just take it to like an 11. And so I guess my grandmother Googled like Steve and Nekhaila podcasts.
Oh, geez.
So they went and she watched this podcast, and I was like, oh no, holy shit! I got to watch this podcast. Remember what I said in this podcast like 2 years ago,
dude.
So it was. Luckily, my grandmother's pretty open-minded, so it's like the it's shock humor, I guess. It's like Howard Stern, right? Yeah.
I just did an episode with Burning Boots that just came out a couple days ago, and the first time I was on the Burning Boots podcast, they actually have an oof counter of how many times I said oof. 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 I was running for chair at the time. I'm like, I immediately regret this decision.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't at all censor myself, and my mom knows that my show is explicit, so she wouldn't be here if she cared too much. When I'm with my mother, I don't use the bad words. At least the F word. I never use the F word in front of my mom. I think I used the F word in front of my mom growing up like 3 times ever, and I'm pretty sure 2 of them I got my ass beat. So.
Learn your lesson.
And I've never said it in front of my grandmother. And my grandma did watch a show or 2 of this, I'm sure. So hopefully she's not too mad at me, but she's a nice lady.
Dude, I think me and you had the most fun out of any LNC member on any LNC meeting.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, like by far.
Every LNC meeting that we have been to, it's so Steven is, I said in the beginning, Steven has become like my best friend. Like an actual best friend, not just my best friend on the LNC, but he is my best friend on the LNC as well. I have other friends on the LNC, like Aaron Adams and Karen Ann Harlos, and I've partied with Aaron Adams too a few times. But every single time Stephen and Nekhaila and I get together, it's trouble. But it's good. It's the good kind of trouble. It's always been fun in Florida, though. I think until this last Florida convention, I had been to the prior 4 Florida conventions.
Yeah, what happened to you this time, man? I wasn't sure if you were going to come or not.
No one invited me this time, bud.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You're an official member.
I know. I'm like
a show up. Like,
yeah.
Exactly. Everybody knows Josh Smith. Like whenever he comes to the convention in Florida, everybody's like, "Oh, Josh!" Like, dude, like you're basically like one of us.
I've never had so many people in the Florida State Party have like hit me up and be like, "Hey, man, you moving to Florida? When are you coming to Florida? Are you going to move to Florida?" And I'm like, "God, I want to go." But I've told Julia, once we get the last kid out of the house, we're going.
Awesome. You got to, man. You got to. All the cool kids are moving to Florida, man. Alex Merced just moved into Orlando recently.
No, all the New Yorkers are moving to moving to Florida.
That's a fact. Actually, I told Larry Sharp. I said, you know what, Larry? You know what New York's biggest export is? New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And you know where they all move? Florida.
Yeah. I just had Larry on the last show, and he's talking about moving to Florida. He was
really?
like, yeah, he's talking about either Florida or Tennessee. If it's a long ways out, and he may run for governor again if he gets enough support. So. We got a super chat from Tim Crosby Jr. Thank you, sir. He said the LPF recently had their convention in Lakeland. How has the takeover affected your state? Are you talking about Florida? There doesn't need to be a takeover in Florida.
Well, we had a little bit of a civil war. One side was propped up by the CIA. The other side was propped up by the state. It raged on for decades, but really at the end, we've reached peace. There are no problems in the state of Florida. We are just, the people are happy with the leadership, the ruling elite in our state, and everybody's happy. There's no problems whatsoever, and we make sure to keep it that way. So
yeah,
no, really though. I mean, I think Florida truly is a state that has been able to really integrate newcomers into the state, because for years, and for those of you that aren't familiar, Florida had a problem with factionalization in the past, and probably the most factionalization out of any state
next to Oregon,
prior to a lot of besides like Oregon and these other states that like literally spit up into like an apartheid.
Yeah.
Florida did have its issues back in the day with Augustus Invictus, of course, and everything else that happened, all the crazy shit that could only happen in the state of Florida. And so we've really bonded as a state. We've really come together, and we've truly gotten to know each other, which I think has allowed us to grow as a party. And one of the things I truly honestly believe, and for anybody out there who's concerned about factionalization, who's concerned about takeovers, who's concerned about all this kind of stuff, if your state leadership requires a takeover, they probably deserve it. And here's why. If you don't have a plan that people are bought into and encouraged by and excited about, then why the hell should they listen to you, and why should you be in charge? If you're not leading, which is the ability to influence people, then what happens is that people devolve into their own self-interest, which might be the interest of the party. But if there's not a unifying vision, then you're going to have different groups that are going to try to get in power. So you don't have to be the Saddam Hussein of the LP in order to have a good state party. You have to be a good leader. You have to be a good, you have to be a visionary and have people buy into that vision. So when the Mises Caucus came in, obviously I'm Mises too, but there wasn't really a lot of Mises influence in Florida. A couple of the guys came up to me and they said, "Hey man, what's the plan? What's the game plan?" And I sent them my vision deck for 2021. I write these business plan type things, vision deck for 2020, 2021. It outlines everything we're trying to do, what our goals are, where we're headed, all that kind of stuff. And he said, "Hey, man, this is cool. This is actually exactly the kind of stuff we were interested in. A lot of our goals aligned." So I said, "Great. I could use your guys' help to achieve these goals. Awesome. How can we help?" So they came in, Mises. We actually have a full slate of EC candidates for the first time ever. So we've got something like 22 or 20, I think it's 21 executive committee members total. So we have it a full slate. A lot of the guys are Mises, probably 40 to 50% are Mises folks. A lot of newcomers, and we just put them to work, man. And it's been pretty phenomenal. I'm really excited about it. And here's the funny thing too, I realized, because some people had the question of, does Mises take away resources and personnel from the Libertarian Party? And here's what I've been able to find. Mises Caucus is like a funnel, and they bring people in from the outside that wouldn't normally be Libertarian Party members, and they direct them to the party. These are people that wouldn't normally be donating, wouldn't normally be volunteering, wouldn't normally be supporting the party, and they come from a very specific place. They're very passionate about anti-war. They're passionate about economics. They're passionate about authoritarian intrusion on our lives. So I think that what the Mises Caucus is doing is pretty awesome. And I think that if the other caucuses want to be just as effective as the Mises Caucus, they should be doing the same thing. Make their parallel structures, but funnel it towards the party, because ultimately we have to have a wide net. The Overton window, which is what the centrists believe in, is it's a small window. So we can each take a part of that Overton window, stretch it a little further using the caucuses as bait, and get them over to the Libertarian Party. And that's the most important thing we can do. So instead of being at each other's throats, we have to learn how to work together. And I think that's the most important thing for that is going to be strong leadership and a vision that we can all unite under. So yeah, man, no, Florida's been good, and the takeover has been great. I love it.
Yeah. Top Lobster, thanks for the super chat. He said, "Where I live, the government kills you." That's because he's in New York. Patrick Leisner, thank you for the super chat. He said, move to Florida fund. Yeah. We're going to do it someday. I promise you. I think I kind of want to be somewhere around Tampa, but I do like Florida.
Tampa's up too.
Yeah. What is it? Is it Clear Lake, Clearwater?
Clearwater. Yeah, Clearwater. I think that's where we're at. Last convention, we had a great time there.
Yeah, I like it there.
Pinellas County.
That's also where Jess Mears is from, I think, Clearwater area. So she's made it sound very enticing. It's somewhere I would live. I will live in Florida eventually. There's no doubt about it. It just may be 18 years when my youngest is out of the house, or in like 15 years when Julia's youngest is out of the house. That's the only reason why I wouldn't move now, is because Julia's kids have dad here, so we can't just take off and leave. But the other kids we could take, So, man, Florida is actually the second most elected libertarians, right, in the country.
I think we might be. I'm not sure exactly where we stand. I know Pennsylvania. They've basically used the same strategy we use called Operation First Step.
You guys created that though.
Yeah. Operation First Step was a Florida thing. It's basically the idea that if you target nonpartisan local elections, you're going to win, because guess what? The reality is, and it's an awful reality, but it's a reality we have to accept it, is that partisan libertarians lose 99% of the time. Do they win? Yes. We won state attorney in New York. We won state representative in, I think it's was it Missouri? Bert?
No, that's Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Yeah.
So we won state rep there. We lost the second seat by like 15 votes or something like that. So we do have some partisan office. We got Jeff Hewitt in California. It does happen, but it's at a very high level. Most libertarian candidates are not ready to compete at that high level. So what's the best, most influential area for them to be able to go in and actually win office? It's nonpartisan local races where your party affiliation doesn't matter, because as long as we get libertarians elected, that's what's important. We can start building out our influence before we build up. So we have mayors, we have county officials, we have city commission officials. We win elections. We actually win municipal elections 51% of the time nationwide. So it's really good odds that we win majority of the time as libertarians when we target these specific elections. So what we did back in, I think it was 2018, is we just targeted all these elections and we won dozens and dozens and dozens of elections. We actually won most of the midterm elections in the country in 2018. It was like 30-something elections throughout the state. So we're using that same strategy in the midterms here in 2022 in order to get libertarians elected to local office. And then Pennsylvania did the same thing. They went out, they said, all right, what are the elections that are either A, non-contested, local, nonpartisan, it could be anything from soil and water board to city council, and they went after it. And they got like 40 or 50 libertarians elected. I forget the exact amount. And now that same strategy is being used around the country. Wes Benedict is a big fan of that strategy of Operation First Step. And then we put together something called Operation Next Step, and what I call the candidate pipeline. So we get somebody elected to city council, right? Maybe in a few years they go for mayor. So we put somebody underneath them. Then maybe they go to county. Then we put somebody at mayor and city. We build that pipeline up. We make that ecosystem at the local level, and we start making our way vertically through the political chain to higher and higher offices. And we get the experience. And it's not just for the candidates, but also the treasurers, the campaign managers, the fundraising directors, the canvasser, all those important people. Because the reality is we need to build up that whole ecosystem so we can win higher level offices. And that's the game plan, man. And we've got great ballot access in Florida, so it's real easy. And that's sort of our shtick and our trademark maneuver is Operation First Step.
Nice, so, yeah. I think in Pennsylvania they call it the Moulton Maneuver.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's the same program, but I know Chuck Moulton came up with it, who just ran for chair, but unfortunately he didn't get it. I would have liked Moulton. I
like Moulton a lot.
Yeah,
he's pretty radical, dude.
Yeah, he's an Austrian economics guy. He's a lawyer too, which I'm kind of over lawyers leading this party, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I kind of want like a no lawyer.
Yeah.
Just like a couple of years. Let's go without a lawyer for a few terms. See what happens, man.
Yeah, we almost had a maintenance man, bro. Okay?
Yeah, dude, I'm down to shake it up.
We need more blue collar people to run for office, anyways, man. I mean that's something that I've talked about a lot. If you're gonna run for office, man, a construction worker's been through a lot more shit than some of these assholes that run the government now. They know they know the plight of everyday men. You know what I mean? And and these people that are so far disconnected from the reality of what we're all living through, have no idea what they're talking about, are running us. So, John Chow, you're a good lawyer, buddy. I'm proud. I would be very happy to cast my vote for you, sir. I mean that. Don't get upset.
Joshua, when is the last time a bearded leader has led the Libertarian Party? All these beardless men, these lawyers, these magicians, these gypsies, no more, I say. I say by royal decree, only the bearded man and non-bearded woman can lead this party, Joshua. I tell you, it is the only way to success, the only way. My father, he rode his camel into village. He told me, he says, son, we're going to be successful one day because I find oil, and the oil will bring us many riches. But one day, non-bearded man will lead country, and we'll have no oil, and we'll be back on camel. So it is important lesson I always remember, Joshua, that the lawyer is no good people. No Aladdin.
We got a couple good lawyers, man. There's a couple good lawyers out there. I got one that watches the show.
No, there are.
John Chow's
Yeah, there are good lawyers. I think what it comes down to is we need more good people, man. We need people that are, quite frankly, that know how to work with people, man. You know, I think it comes down to, and I got a buddy of mine that's a lawyer down here, great guy, Shad Neese, chair of LP Florida Keys, awesome dude. But I think what separates really good libertarians from the sort of, you know, let's face it, man, there's libertarians who know how to talk to people, know how to work a room, type A personalities, and then there's sort of behind the scenes libertarians, just guys that, you know, probably couldn't get a date on prom night. You know, I mean, there's dudes that, you know, are maybe very intellectually strong, but they just don't know, they don't have that value that they bring to the table in other ways that are so important, in my opinion, to really bring a national movement together, especially of radical libertarians. So, you know, I've got my podcast with Davey, Drive the Bus, which is going to be going live hopefully August 1st. We talk about men's improvement, we talk about dating, relationships, how to be higher value as a man, all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, definitely look us up, because we're going to go live. We've got some really good juicy content.
So, but it's not a short bus that you guys are driving, or?
You know, it depends on the bus, really.
Sure, yeah.
All different sizes and shapes. But
don't be a bus.
But the most important thing is if you drive the bus, right? It's actually like that Joe Rogan skit. I don't know if you've heard it. But there's a Joe Rogan skit, like, you know, where you're on the bus and you're in the back of the bus, right? And all the windows are down and there's papers flying around and wind and howling and stuff like that. And you're trying to tell the bus driver, you know, that you need to get off the bus, right? And you're saying, hey, I need to get off the bus. And he's still going. And then the idea is, in the podcast, is we're talking about relationships, dating, all that kind of stuff, is that, you know, you're with a girl or whatever like that, right? And you bust a nut, and then all of a sudden you realize you're the one driving the bus. So we want to put men back into that position of taking control of their lives, taking control of their futures. But going back to it, man, we just need cool people to be, you know, running the show. Like that's kind of a big deal, because people that have the social skills, the abilities, the aptitudes are going to be people that are going to be good leaders. Sure. And you know, absolutely need more of that.
So. Your vice chair just dropped a super chat. Thank you, Josh Lavaka. Did I say that right?
Hey, man. What's up, brother?
Lavka? I always mess it up. I'm not as bad as Ken Molman, though. He said this message has been approved by the Libertarian Party Bearded Caucus. Absolutely.
Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely. Man, so I got a funny story, and we're gonna talk about this before we wrap up. So, you know that we made your thumbnail you with an Egyptian headdress and a tiki torch because people have called you a Nazi, legitimately. Right. So we were actually making fun of the people who call you that. But there's an ex-congressional candidate in Texas who lost to the neocon pirate, if you will. And I won't name either of them on the show, but he's very, very mad that I'm platforming a Nazi tonight because
How dare you?
Because I called you a Nazi in the post with the thumbnail as a joke to make fun of the people who have called you a Nazi, and this guy's so stupid he doesn't get the joke and is now saying that I'm platforming a Nazi. It's literally a joke about you, dude, and you're making the, you know what I mean? Like, you're taking it and doing exactly why we're making the joke. But why? Why do people call you this?
You know, I wish I could tell you why. Yeah, man, I don't know. You know, apparently the brownest, most Egyptian non-white person in the LP, Florida, is apparently a Nazi, a white Nazi. Apparently that's a thing. There was like Facebook pages made of me, like calling me, you know, like how I've embraced white nationalism and all this kinds of crazy shit. and then apparently me and you are actually in Flan, Florida Libertarians Against Nazis.
Yeah.
Who I'm pretty sure I know who the person is that runs that page, and I'm pretty sure that he like creeps our conventions and stuff, but like never shows up. Like weird people that are super obsessed. They've always apparently I'm a Nazi. Apparently Florida is just full of Nazis. We had the anonymous group of anarchists try to get us disaffiliated because of our pro-white supremacy. Obviously, I mean, if you can tell, I'm definitely a white supremacist. Well, I'm a self-hating brown guy.
Let's talk about. I think the big issue that people hold on to is that Augustus Invictus was a member of the party.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, it's not like he had some great influence inside the party. He got like wrecked in the primary, right?
Yeah, he did not get the primary vote. He was kind of an interesting guy, to say the least. So
not primary, but the endorsement vote.
Right. Yeah, he didn't get the endorsement. He was censured by the party. He's a guy that apparently drank goat blood after coming back from like a desert like vision quest kind of thing. Dude was like super crazy pagan. He did a lot of drugs, and I remember watching on like the local news one day talking about Augustus Invictus, the chupacabra goat blood drinker, Libertarian Party of Florida is running for state senate. So he got primaried out by no libertarian, and a lot of eyes were on Florida. Like, dude, what the fuck is going on down there, right? And so it was a crazy time. I just became Region 14 rep at the time. So I just got in. I'm like, this is absolutely nuts, insane. What's going on? There was haul back and forth, all this kinds of stuff. There was another guy that I don't know if he knew him through, I don't know how they met, but he came in, the dude, and I believe this, I really honestly do. The guy's, funny guy, but there was some people that came in that were apparently ex-white supremacists. Or one guy in particular that was an ex-white supremacist, right? So he had the tattoos and the whole shit. And yeah, Ryan Ramsey, So he came into the party, and I really honestly believe, because when I first met Ryan, he was really cool with me, and he told me the whole story about how he gave up that life. And I honestly believe it, and I do believe in second chances. That Augustus, his thing was that he went, and I guess he represented in court this white supremacist group back in the day.
He's a lawyer.
So that's how, because he was an attorney. So he got a lot of these guys to follow him and all this kinds of stuff. And he was like, pro legalizing drugs, this and that. But weird feathered history, man. And I don't even know what he's up to today. I don't even know if he's in prison or if he's not.
I think he got arrested for
he left, man.
He got arrested for like kidnapping and beating the shit out of his wife or something, and then last time I heard, yeah, it's
really weird. He had like 8 Latino kids, but then like he was beating this girl that he was dating, and
it was allegedly. I don't know. I remember the case and I remember the complaint,
I don't know.
I don't know what happened.
It never went to court. So I don't know for sure what actually was truth. So there's a lot of allegations. So what people did is I guess they just took that and decided, well, the whole party of Florida is a bunch of white supremacists. So literally the most racially diverse party with the most minority people, in the country. We probably are. I wouldn't be surprised if the LPF general membership, if you go to like an LPF convention, is majority brown.
Yeah.
Like Latino, like Egyptian,
Cuban,
Guatemalan, everything. It's all there. So, like, to call us a bunch of white supremacists is pretty asinine and insane. And I just laugh, bro. It's actually kind of funny, like, when everybody calls me, like, a white supremacist or Nazi or whatever, because it's just, like, it pops up, like, every now and then. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, okay, man, I guess I'm a Nazi. Let me get my tiki torch and, whatever, dude. Like, it's just the craziest thing. And, yeah, it makes no sense. It's entertaining, and we love it. It's hilarious.
Let's end this with a funny story. Since we brought up Ryan Ramsey, let's end this with a funny story of my first trip to a Florida state convention. I flew into Orlando, okay, and the convention was in Fort Walton Beach.
Yes.
And this was the first time I met you too.
Yes, I remember that. We had the frat house.
But this is what happened. I'm going to tell the whole story here, okay? It's hilarious. It just goes from funny to funnier to crazy, right? So I flew into Orlando. If you're not familiar, Orlando is not close to Fort Walton Beach.
It was a 15-hour drive from Key West. I found out about that.
It was like I think an 8 to 10 hour drive. Okay, so I flew in a red eye into Orlando, and Greg and Mari Peel picked me up.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And so I love Greg and I love Mari. I always say it wrong. I love them. Like, they're two of my favorite people in this world. There is not many people in this world that are nicer than those two. But I was very tired in a car with them for 10 hours, and they like to talk, you know? And I'm like in the back seat like, oh, God, I want to go to sleep so bad. So I never really got to sleep. And then I walk into Fort Walton Beach. I walk into the hotel, literally into the hotel, and sit down on a panel with you to talk about crypto on the panel.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, dude.
And Adam Kokesh is hosting this panel. And I walk in and I sit down on this panel to talk about crypto. And I have not slept in like over 24 hours at this point, right? It's essentially like I'm starting this panel at the time I started my flight the night before. And I'm exhausted. I've been in a car for 10 hours. I didn't even have time to change into the suit or anything. And so the convention was cool. But then I get to hang out with all the Florida libertarians. It was a lot of fun. There was a beach bar on the beach. And at like in the middle of the night, either that night or the next night, I'm in the ocean swimming at like 2:00 in the morning from the bar. and then, so this is where it gets crazy. I had to get back to Orlando to get back on my flight to go back home to Oregon. And, I got a ride with Ryan Ramsey.
Yeah,
and his wife at the time, who's a sweetheart, really nice, and
yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah, and
I love her.
And so I'm going back up with them to stay at their house, like I think close to Gainesville. Maybe I don't know. It went from Florida to like the country, right? We're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it changes fast. Florida goes from like city to country, like it's crazy. Like whoa, there's Florida, then there's Florida.
Yeah, no, so totally we drive out to the country, and now it's the middle of the night because we left like Sunday evening or something, right? And we go to his house, and there's no one around. There's no other houses around his house or nothing, right? and let me preface this with when I first started talking to Ryan, we were talking shit to each other online. I was writing a hit piece. About white nationalism and the liberty movement, and I was talking about Augustus Invictus and all this shit, and Ryan was coming at me online, and we're going back and forth, and we were gonna fight, like legitimately. We ended up making up eventually, and I was like, I apologize. I actually had him on my first show that I ever did, not on this show, but when I worked for Think Liberty, and we hashed it out. We did like an hour and 20 minutes, and I was like, this guy's pretty cool. I can't find anything to hate him over. This was stupid. So now we're friends, but now he's taking me into the backwoods, right, in the middle of the night, and this is the first time I've ever met him in person. And he's like, yeah, you got to go check it out, dude. We got out back there in those bushes. There's like this old bus and all this shit. And it's pitch black on the land, right? And he's like, I'm like, all right, that's cool. We can go check this out. I'm already getting a little nervous, right? I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. And
he's like, let me go grab my, right? And so he goes into the bedroom and he comes back out with an AR-15 with a flashlight on the end of it. Right? And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Shitting your pants.
And so he turns on the flashlight. He's all right, go ahead and walk. Start walking through those bushes over there. And I'm like, oh, you could go first, dude. You know, I'll walk behind you. You got the flashlight, you know. Freaking out, dude. I'm like, this guy is going to take me into the back in this fucking, like, he's going to dump me in some swamp with, like, alligators. You know what I mean?
Whatever happened to Joshua Smith?
Yeah, whatever happened to that Josh Smith? I don't know. I put him on an airplane in Orlando. Never saw him again. I don't know. So I'm like, this guy's going to shoot me in the back of the head in the middle of nowhere and dump me in some swamp somewhere. But no, he didn't. He was actually really nice. We ended up having some beers and chilling and listening to a bunch of music. And then we woke up the next morning and he took me to the airport, and I got on the. We actually stopped at the Hooters and had a couple beers, and then I got on the airplane and went home. That was my first trip to Florida, dude.
Yeah,
it was wild. And Ryan scared the shit out of me, dude. Legit. First of all,
he's a big guy, man. He's just scary. He's very intimidating, like as a person. Because I think he told me he did something too, where they would like help escort kids that were like abused or some shit to like court, and because he's a big scary dude, he would like help do that kind of stuff. So he, like, if you saw this guy on the street, like you would cross on the other side of the street.
Start walking. Well, and he's wearing like over the shoulder holsters with like dual guns hanging out of his jacket, and he's like
you give him a hug, and he just kind of like, you know, winks at you.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I got 2 guns on me. Probably got one on his ankle too. And he's big. Like, so when we were talking shit online, I'm a big guy. I'm not a little guy. I'm almost 6'3", and I weigh like 240 pounds. And he's way bigger than me.
Yeah.
Like when I showed up to Florida, I was like, I'm really glad that we never fought, dude. Like really glad, because you would have.
We made up.
Yeah. Anyways, man. Hey, what's next for Steve and Nekhaila, man? What do you got coming up?
Oh man. coming up next, man, is just I'm looking at potentially running for local office down here in Key West.
Nice.
Like I said before, I was at a local city council commission meeting. So working on that, working on making the LP Florida successful. And I guess I'll announce it here first because I've been meaning to, waiting for some of the drama to die down, but I do plan on running for director at large for the Libertarian National Committee. So you guys heard it first. That's what's next in store for me. I'm heading this week to Virginia to open up a new Wendy's in Suffolk, Virginia, and right around where Amazon's putting their headquarters in. So maybe we can get in the courtyard there. Who knows? And just doing my thing, man. And hopefully we can get you down here soon for some fantasy fest or something. If you got somebody to watch your 47 kids.
Yeah. How many Wendy's do you have now?
We have 9. This will be our 10th.
And you have other restaurants too, right?
Correct. Yeah, we've got the Dairy Queen and Tavernier, which I opened up after Hurricane Irma. So it's actually funny story. It's actually my hometown Dairy Queen where I used to go after school and stuff. I used to get the Oreo Blizzards and all that growing up as a kid. Later on in life, kind of funny how it all works out. Ended up keeping it a Dairy Queen after it was going to close down. Funny story. My sister's a lot younger than me, so she has friends in high school that were working for us. And she goes, my friend's a libertarian. I said, oh, really? Cool. So I talked to him. And he's like, yeah. He kid's in high school. He's like, yeah, I'm a libertarian. And my friends are libertarians. I'm like, dude, holy shit. Like, I didn't know what a libertarian was until I got to college. So definitely younger libertarians and all that kind of stuff coming up to the forefront, I think is awesome. But if anybody's ever in Florida Keys, go to Islamorada, check out the Island Grill. It's our full-service seafood restaurant. So if you're down with some good seafood, you're in the area, come check us out. We got a 150-foot dock. We've got amazing seafood, beachfront, waterfront property there that you can enjoy your vacation. And we're also doing comedy shows on Sundays. We actually have upcoming ones, so might check us out for that. But yeah, man, just staying busy in all things and everything, and just trying to find time to hit the gym and do my libertarian stuff.
Gotta get that pump on, buddy. We need more strong libertarians, dude. Absolutely. Brother, thank you so much for coming on. Where can all these wonderful people find you and follow you? We need to build that Twitter presence, dog.
Yeah, man. Find me on Twitter. I got Discourse Corner on Twitter. I barely use it, but Josh is going to bring me back in. Also Facebook, Stephen Nekhaila. There's also Facebook, Stephen Nekhaila, Region 2 representative. I don't really use Instagram, but Stevo3333 if you're on Insta. And then check out the new podcast coming up if you're interested. Do a lot of self-development, dating, relationships, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be Drive the Bus, August 1st. It'll be out. And, of course, lpf.org, lp.org. Sign up, volunteer, donate. Because if you're not going to be a part of the solution, then who else will? So we need you. We need good people. We need strong people, strong men, strong women to go and do this thing. Because people get so fed up. Oh, man, party's not the way I want it to be. I'm going to do something else. It's because good people leave that there isn't that strong presence. So be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, and look forward to fighting alongside you for liberty and freedom. And thanks for watching, folks.
I'll always be there right next to you, buddy. I promise. Thank you so much for coming on Break the Cycle. I will see you here in about 2 minutes for the exclusive after show after hours.
Sounds good, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Another awesome episode of Break the Cycle. Stephen Nekhaila is just one of the coolest guys I've ever met. I love hanging out with him in person and online. Any chance I get, it's always fun. Guys, if you want to watch the exclusive after hours content of every show, you can join the YouTube membership right now. I dropped the link in the chat. You can also join the Patreon at patreon.com/breakthecycle, or the same thing at subscribestar.com/breakthecyclejs, same as Patreon. Man, the people that are watching or listening to this tomorrow on the podcast are going to be so confused because they didn't get to see my friend Stephen Nekhaila in character. They're just going to hear these accent changes, and it's going to be really funny. But if you're just listening to the show, go over to YouTube, youtube.com/fightthedespots, and subscribe, man. It helps the algorithm, even if you don't even watch shows. But you guys, as usual, make sure you like the show. Every show you watch, just hit that thumbs up for me, and make sure that you subscribe because it does help the algorithm. And the show's growing. We are now currently at over 1,000 subscribers per month since I started the show, basically. So it's great. It's doing really good. The Patreon's doing good. I I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. You guys are amazing. Check out our sponsors at lorenzotti.coffee for all your delicious Italian coffee needs delivered directly to your door. And, of course, my friend, my partner on the show, toplobster.com, the man who draws everything for this show. I wouldn't be half of a show I am today if it wasn't for this man. Go check out toplobster.com. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount on awesome, awesome shirts like this Epstein Didn't Kill Himself shirt I'm wearing today. Or, you guys, please buy the Break the Cycle pillow so that you can put your custom Break the Cycle pillow on your couch while you're watching CouchStreams every other night or every night, however often you watch. Or join the Patreon, subscribe star, or channel membership to get 30% discounts on brand new Top Lobster gear 2 weeks before it goes out to the general public. Executive producer of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your home, business, or personal life. They are amazing. Guys, coming up on the show tomorrow, we have a real heavyweight coming on. We have Stefan Kinsella. Be respectful, not a punk. Mr. IP, man, it's going to be an awesome show. I'm sure we're going to talk all things IP. Coming up on Wednesday, my good friend, I like to say that. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy. My good friend Tom Woods, the very failed podcaster, will be on to defend his views on Hawaiian shirts. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thursday, I'll have Brad Palumbo on. It's going to be an awesome show. We have some things to go over about censorship. Hopefully, he'll have some good answers there. But we'll talk about all the stuff he's up to in his new show. And of course, on Friday, we're going to have Austin Peterson on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have interviewed Austin once before for Think Liberty, and it was a really great show when he was running for Senate. I think it was right before he announced he was running for U.S. Senate. So it's a good week of shows. Next week's going to be just as lit. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms. I'm also on Odyssey, which eventually we'll probably have to move over there if they ever kick me off. So go check out Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith on Odyssey. I will see you guys tomorrow for the show with Stefan Kinsella. But until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just landed in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just landed in Minecraft. Wood chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just landed in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse in Minecraft, just in Minecraft. You're nothing I mean, you know it. No product theaters, cause they're closed for COVID.